What is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD. Want you to hear back here on PlayStation Source, and this, of course, is Road to Ghost of Tsushima, the weekly podcast series revolving around any and all things Ghost of Tsushima as we lead up to launch. And with me, of course, my luxurious co-host, the Iraq Knight. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing well. I'm anxious, but we're good.
Yep, we're definitely in a lot better of a mood. You know, so right before this, we recorded our Last of Us Part 2 First Impressions. Make sure to go check that out on the channel as well, or the podcast. Either one where you're at has been recorded, documented completely. And I feel now we're in a much better mood, high energy. At least I feel like I am.
Yeah, no, I am awake now. Like
yeah.
It was a late night, you know. Enduring and surviving
indeed. But another game that we'll of course have to endure and survive from a different enemy, not from the WLF or the Seraphites or the infected, is of course Ghost of Tsushima. And I really wanted to do this episode for episode 2, which of course, if you saw the title already, it is titled The Story and Characters of Ghost of Tsushima. And I really want to do this because they are doing a lot to really double down on the historical aspect of Ghost of Tsushima and what it's deriving off of in terms of history, right? Because there's definitely a lot here. There's a lot of interesting. I mean, I found a lot of stuff interesting here, and I guess we'll throw it in here as well. This is our second time recording this podcast, so
yeah.
OBS, you're my arch nemesis. We are doing away with you. Be gone, OBS, be gone. But here we are, round 2, back better than ever. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt that like having a game in PlayStation first party that is revolving around an historical event, I think it's very, very important that, or hopefully important, or maybe interesting to a few people, you know what I'm saying, that we go into the real history of the Mongol invasion. Of course, that is what Ghost of Tsushima is really based off of, as well as going through the actual history, as well as how it compares and contrasts to the history that they are doing in Ghost of Tsushima, because they're not one-to-one. It's not completely the same, but there's clear reasons as to why it's not the same, and they're really doubling down, of course, mostly on making it historically accurate to the real Mongolian invasion. You know what I'm saying? But starting off here, I think a great place to start is, of course, brought to us by the Ghost of Tsushima wiki via fandom, a great source for information of all things nerdy and stuff like that. And you know what? Why not? Let's do a popcorn style Arachnite. You know what I'm saying? Popcorn style, definitely. As a youngin, try to avoid the popcorn style reading.
Of course.
Had to look different ways, hide my field of vision, if you will.
That's how they got you. That's how they got you, though.
That's true. Like, did you ever have to, of course you took tests in school, but like, do you remember in like elementary school when you had those like folders you had to put up at your desk?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just thought about that. Like, I remember like trying to hide like behind my folder, low key, when they're doing popcorn reading and stuff like that. It was wild. Good stuff.
Yeah. No, those. I always tried to pick a desk because I was like alone, like isolated. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So it really wasn't too big of an issue. Like, I never really had a folder because no one was sitting next to me. I didn't want it. I just wanted to. I only wanted to sit there and I wanted to read and be done.
Get in, do the thing, get out.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I agree. I really empathize with that. But I am gonna pick you first for popcorn reading.
All right.
And I think a great place to start, is this little story excerpt that pretty much rounds out the crux.
Crux.
What's the term I'm looking for? Crux, right?
It's not. Juxtaposition is a literary term. to the extent of my knowledge, and like I am not very like fluent in all that, but to the extent of my knowledge, a juxtaposition is like two things like being close together with that like contrast, I believe. So you're looking for I believe you had it right with Crux. This is the a synopsis of the main point. No details, just the main point.
And once again, your boy is just a bumbling idiot.
Bro, no. The only reason I remember that is because I took a test in sophomore year of high school, and it was the only one I got wrong, and I was like, never again. Never again. We went hard in high school.
Hashtag never again.
Never again. But
you know what? I just realized actually.
What?
While we were doing the part 2 first impressions, we didn't talk about what games we were playing.
I think.
Did we want to do that here real quick, or it's just unnecessary?
The games we've been playing is The Last of Us Part 2.
Of course, yes. The Last of Us Part. Oh wow, that's a big one that we had missing. Yeah, from the last recording, of course. Yeah, Last of Us Part 2. Minecraft Dungeons has been pretty cool. Honestly, very very charming game. Very very charming. It definitely retains that Minecraft charm.
Yeah, that feel.
For sure. Like sound design, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
It's just,
I guess that's it.
Yeah. Titanfall, Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
It literally the last week has just been, what can I do to burn as much time as easily as possible? Because it's just been especially yesterday. Yesterday was just can I nap? Just can I sleep? And it's I know I woke up a few hours ago, but can I take a 7-hour nap and wake up at 9 p.m.? And that did not happen. Did not.
Hate to see it.
You truly hate to see it.
You truly do. But let's read this little story excerpt. Going over Ghost of Tsushima.
Are you getting it or am I getting it? Because I can do it.
You can grab it, yeah, and then I'll get the first part of the next section, and we'll go.
All right, big bet. Ghost of Tsushima is a story-driven open-world game. An anthology of stories surrounds Jin's main story in the form of side tales. The year is 1274 CE. Samurai warriors are the legendary defenders of Japan until the fearsome Mongol Empire invades the island of Tsushima, wreaking havoc and conquering the local population. As one of the last surviving samurai, players rise from the ashes to fight back, but honorable tactics won't lead to victory. They must move beyond their samurai traditions to forge a new way of fighting, the way of the ghost, as they wage an unconventional war for the freedom of Japan.
So, what I think the biggest thing that kind of caught me off guard, I don't know if it did to you as well, but this sentence about an anthology of stories surrounds Jin's main story in the form of side tales. I think that's essentially saying side missions are in the game that surround Jin's main story.
Yeah, they kind of
yeah,
build up on it instead of just kind of being filler.
Right. And I think they're trying to say that, or at least make a quote unquote explanation for side missions in the lore of the Ghost of Tsushima. You know what I'm saying? Why would he be doing this over? I think that's what it's getting at here. I don't know, but pretty cool. Yeah. So we, of course, are a samurai. Our island home of Tsushima gets invaded by the Mongolian Empire. Is saying Mongolian Empire correct, or should I say Mongol Empire?
A Mongolian is a person, and a Mongol is the overreaching. You wouldn't call it you could, but Like I don't know. The first thing that I don't know why this is the first thing that came to mind, but Bulgarian.
I thought of like American.
Oh well.
Or like Dominican.
Yeah.
But Bulgarian. Yeah. Okay. So I guess I wouldn't.
Yeah, the Empire of. If you were to say the Empire of Bulgaria, like.
Bulgaria Empire, like
there are different ways to construct sentences based on how the words are formed, or like
Definitely.
just the how grammatically.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, they just use Mongol Empire throughout this entire thing. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I will bend the knee. I will bend the knee.
Yeah. Shout out to English.
Oh, big ups to English, absolutely.
Dessert. Like read, read, like
desserts.
Like English sucks.
English is wild sometimes.
It's whack.
It's yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But my favorite word in the English language is catalyst.
That is a cool word.
I love the word catalyst. I love using it whenever I can. Catalyst. Very, very good song. Also a very good Linkin Park song as well. Never heard of it. If you haven't heard of it, I really recommend it. It's a great song.
My favorite word is superior.
I like that. Well, of course, in Ghost of Tsushima, we will be fighting the Mongol Empire. And the Mongol Empire invasion is, of course, the catalyst to seeing Jin, our protagonist, adapt more of a skill set that makes him a bit dishonorable in the way of the ghost, of course, right? But I want to go over this IGN article. It's titled "The History Behind Ghost of Tsushima." I will link it down below in the description. If I don't, yell at me on Twitter, yell at me in the comment sections, because I have it written down. So whenever I make content, if you will, I have stacks of flashcards that I used to use for school, right? But now that a homie's graduated, I had a lot of residual flashcards. So now I use them for tagging notes. I'll be like, okay, like at this time card, put up this YouTube card to link to this video, put this link in the description. I'll manually write it down and put it like up against my Mac. That way when I'm uploading, I remember, right? I haven't made those notes yet for this episode, so there's a solid chance I'll forget. But if I do, scream at me, I'll put it there. It's all good. But if you want to look for it again for yourself, it is IGN's article, "The History Behind Ghost of Tsushima." They did a great job, I feel like, breaking down the real events of what happened during the Mongol invasion. And I think it's a good comparison sake at every point, because we will go down to another article from GameSpot, and that's how accurate is Ghost of Tsushima. And I think it's a really good place to start if we're going to just look at it from a historical standpoint. Let's look at the real history of the Mongol invasion, shall we? If I may.
Let's get into it.
Like Philip DeFranco, let's just jump right into it. Time to get filled in.
Pause.
PH. The game is set during the first Mongol invasion of Japan, which took place in 1274. The Kublai Khan had already established a dynasty in China and claimed Korea. And once again, my pronunciation might be horrible for a lot of these words. My apologies. Upon reaching the sea, his next target was the island of Japan. He made multiple demands to the Emperor of Japan, encouraging him to submit to Mongol rule. Anticipating the Emperor would reject these offers, the Great Khan was, at the same time, constructing an invasion fleet. When the rejections did come, the Khan set sail with thousands of soldiers and hundreds of boats. He set his sights on Tsushima, a small island strategically located in the straits between Korea and the main island of Japan. The island was ideally located for both trade and defense with regard to the Asian mainland, and was the nearest part of Japan that could be reached from the Mongols' ports in Korea. On October 5th, the Khan's forces landed on Komodama Beach, where they handily defeated the local governor and his cavalry. The Mongols subjugated the island and reportedly slaughtered its inhabitants. So they came and just they just like a lion and a gazelle,
Oof.
just fucked it up.
Demolishing.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. It's a war of attrition.
Oh, precisely.
It's just like, how many bodies can we throw until we win?
I love the detail of the Khan expecting them to deny his demands, while at the same time trying to deal with taking over Tsushima and Japan, very straight up, just like, hey, listen, dude, I'm gonna pull up, right? I don't want to pull up, but I'm gonna pull up. So give me the demands I want, and I may not pull up so harshly, right? But at the same time, he's in the background prepping to pull up ferociously.
Yeah.
It's
submit or die.
Truly. It really is. It really is.
To quote Shadow the Hedgehog, "Death to all who oppose me."
Wait, that's a real thing he said?
Yeah, he said it in the 2005 game named Shadow the Hedgehog.
Huh.
And 6-year-old me thought that was the hypest shit in the world. It was like, yeah, Shadow's got a gun. And for some reason,
he has a gun in that game?
Yeah, he has a dead ass gun, like a pistol. Like, you can get a machine gun, a pistol, a rocket launcher, and you're just firing at either aliens or soldiers, because there's good and evil paths. It was 6-year-old me was like, yeah, this is the hypest shit ever. And now as a 20-year-old, it's like, yo, what the fuck? It's still hype. It's still hype. Dude. But what were you gonna say?
That reminded me of those Animal Crossing memes where the villagers would pull up to Tom Nook with a gat, and be like, "Hey, yo, listen, I'm not paying my debt. This debt.
Yeah.
I would need that refund check. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I need that stimulus package out here. Let's move on to the next.
Historically, the samurai themselves begin to adapt to the Mongol tactics of using massed volleys and formations over single combat. It's worth noting that this first Mongol invasion encouraged the normally competitive and clannish samurai to set aside their conflicts and fight for all of Japan against a foreign invader. The Mongols also introduced the samurai to several weapon advancements. In addition to using gunpowder and rockets, the Mongols also used them in hand-thrown grenades, which were used to scare horses. You can see the samurai doing exactly that right at the end of the trailer.
Yeah, again, literally the second time recording, I forgot to take out that sentence, but
well, it's true.
I mean, it is true. We do see it multiple times in the trailer, and I think we see it even in the state of play when we get the debut of the ghost gameplay. There's a part where Jin is above 3 guards, and I guess that was more of a firecracker type thing. It wasn't necessarily a grenade, but it was a firecracker type thing that disoriented them, So we see, of course. I mean, I honestly didn't know that a lot of the new weaponry and tactics and different equipment that the samurai started to use as the Mongolian invasion was happening, and a way to fight back was with their own technology, which is pretty interesting too.
Yeah,
did not know that.
We're in Premier Enemy and all that. Think like your enemy, fight like your enemy. All that good stuff. It's cool to see. I don't know. We talked about it last time. I adore the attention to detail. I respect attention to detail heavy.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail that we are gonna get into. I know now that we know it because this is our second time recording it, but there's a lot of cool stuff here for sure. A lot of cool details. And You ever seen Rebels? No, right?
We're talking Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
No, we talked about it.
I'm an idiot. Wow, I'm such a dumbass.
No, you're good. You're good, man. It's a small detail.
The way that the natives to Tsushima and the samurai and all that fight back against the Mongols by like learning their enemy and learning their tactics and equipment and different stuff like that reminds me of Thrawn, Grand Admiral Thrawn. Like really being particular about learning the culture of the enemy. And that's what I thought. But to follow the story a bit further, the Mongols were eventually repulsed thanks to an unseasonable typhoon in late November of that year. The storm all but destroyed the Mongol fleet, effectively ending the invasion. The Japanese refer to this phenomenon as a, quote, divine wind. In Japanese, the word is kamikaze. It perpetuated a belief that Japan's divine favor would keep the island from ever being conquered by a foreign power, a prediction that would hold true until World War II. This was one of the coolest things that we got from this whole episode.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if we have an end game, right? This massive typhoon is just like in the ocean. Like the whole environment's stormy. Those like blades of grass that we see in the game were just like flailing everywhere. Trees are wilding. The animals are in hiding,
Trees are wilding.
Trees are out here looking like the what those like inflatable things in front of cars? Those, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know what to call those, but like
I don't know what they're called.
Like things are going down. And it's like, man, okay, this divine wind, this typhoon is taking out the Mongolian fleet. Like this is the perfect time to strike. And like if the end game takes place like in that scenario where like its end is like this massive storm, dude, that's gonna be sick.
Like they're like very, I don't know, history is pretty cool. Like some things that have happened, like if you told me like a month ago to think of an end game for Ghost of Tsushima, I am pretty confident in saying that I couldn't think of anything cooler than a big typhoon while you're fighting like the remnants of the Mongols. Mm-hmm. It's like their fleets are destroyed. You see all the debris in the water. It's stormy. Like trees are wilding. Things are going down. I know for a fact I could not have thought of anything cooler than that, other than like a Pacific Rim like fight.
Like, cause I would never even guess to do that as the end, cause like it just doesn't sound like something like I just didn't. I would never think that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely cool. I mean, granted, we don't know the ending of the game yet, so they could not do it. But I don't like if I researched the Mongol invasion for like a solid like 30 minutes, I'd say. Like I spent a little bit of time just getting some articles that I wanted to explore and stuff like that. But if I came across this in 30 minutes and they've been working on this game for like what since 2014, so what's that?
Has it really been since 2014?
Well, I mean, no, I guess not. Because I guess like First Light.
Yeah.
The First Light. Let's say like 4 years, just being safe, right?
Yeah.
Like and they had to have stumbled upon this phenomenon of how they ended the Mongol invasion. Like it has to be part of the game. If it's not, I'd be very, very, very not disappointed, just interested.
Yeah, it's just like, you have this like
cool aspect.
This cool like
so cool.
It's like this hype ass like fight. It's like that actually happened. It's like, hey, you don't have to. This isn't fiction. This is so cool that it sounds fake.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like
precisely, it is cool that it sounds fake.
Yeah, it's like just some of the things in history are beyond the aspect of like, it's like, oh, this is so cool. This has to be fake, right? Like, speaking of World War II, in the previous paragraph, it's just like the atom bomb being called the Manhattan Project is still the coolest thing, one of the coolest things I've heard of in like science.
Fire. I agree.
It's just like,
I agree.
it's just so cool. It's like,
I agree.
moving on from us nerding about typhoons and bombs.
And the Manhattan Project.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, they definitely made it a point when they first came out with Ghost of Tsushima and revealed it at, I believe, Tokyo Game Show.
Yes.
I think.
I believe
2017. So. I could be very wrong. No, I think it was Tokyo Game Show 2017. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But
it's been a few years.
Yeah. They first came out and definitely tackled like a question that I didn't expect Sucker Punch to come out and tackle first, and that was that like, hey, we understand we're a studio of primarily white males, I believe, in Seattle, Washington. You know, not a part of the WLF, but you know, Sucker Punch Studios for now, right? And we wanted to make sure that like it's projected that we are doing everything we can to be historically accurate to feudal Japan, you know, and when we're not accurate, we want to give you a very clear reason as to why we're not being accurate, you know, and there's a lot of cool stuff here. So I'll start off here. This of course is a interview done by GameSpot with Chris Zimmerman, the co-founder and programmer at Sucker Punch, and he says this about the whole topic of like how accurate is Ghost of Tsushima, right?
Right. So
he says, "Oh, sorry, go ahead."
Oh, you got the last paragraph. I was wondering if you wanted me to get this one.
Oh, I did. Oh, snap. My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
My bad. So Zimmerman says, the way I think about it is we're going to deviate from historical truth. We just want to do it intentionally. A lot of the support we get from our friends from Sony in Japan and our Japanese friends in Sony US and all the cultural consultants we've assembled to help us do this stuff is to make sure we don't deviate accidentally. There are things we are going to do that are different, and we want to choose those wisely. End quote. Like that. That is a level of detail and care that I respect heavily.
Yeah, and like it's you know, I just think it's very like a forward thinking thing to do as a studio, like, and it's very like self aware, like, hey, like we're aware, you know, that the majority of the studio is not Japanese. You know what I'm saying? So like in terms of like them like getting support from from Sony in Japan and Japanese friends at Sony and like all the cultural consultants as well, like it sounds like they are definitely getting the right people to be able to do this properly, you know, in terms of like historical accuracy and truth, you know what I'm saying? So definitely makes sense that they would say that first, especially for this game and everything. But they go on to say there are places where we're really pretty true, right? Like if we're putting birds in the game, they're Japanese birds. Brad Meyer, our sound lead, took a trip to Japan to capture the actual sounds of things in nature. It's an awesome game to work on because it lets us do this cool stuff. So stuff like that is going to be pretty perfect. Like the statues that you see in the temple in the demo, those are actual 13th century statues. Which, number one, the first time we read this, really haven't really thought in depth about birds.
Yes.
If I may. You know what I'm saying? So I had never like really like conceived that, like, oh yeah, like there's, you know, birds have different nationalities. Like for sure. I just had never really thought about it that deeply before.
Yeah.
But definitely
like,
makes sense.
I'm not, birds are typically not something I think about. Like,
yeah, no.
you could have shown a pigeon flying through the air and it's like, yeah, that's there he is. And
yeah, I mean, yeah, for real. You could quite honestly put like a seagull in Japan. I'd be like, yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Checks out.
That it do be true. He do be flying.
They do be flying, you know, especially when they're migrating. We thought about that
yeah.
the last recording.
Yeah, it's wild. It's just like I'll just see like a swarm of them and it's like an Alfred Hitchcock movie. And it's like, nice.
Birds are underrated, I think.
Birds are overrated.
Overrated.
They're drunks.
Hot take.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
That was a
joke.
definitely is Honestly, I didn't hear what you said.
I said the crazy conspiracy theory that like birds are drones, like pigeons are drones for the government.
Oh.
Yeah, that conspiracy theory. That was a joke.
I did hear that birds. I mean, not here. I'm pretty sure it's true that like birds are descendants of like dinosaurs.
I believe those are chickens.
Really?
Yes.
That was birds. I mean, like a bird. I mean, is a chicken a bird? I would kind of count it. I think. You know.
As a I don't know the full umbrella of species in bird, but I don't believe they are a bird. I believe like
would sorry go ahead.
No, I'm just oh god, like I never thought I would be asked this question.
I'm purely speculating, but like would be calling a chicken a bird be kind of like calling
don't
a wolf a dog?
Okay, I thought you were gonna go a different route with that.
Oh, like, you know, like we wouldn't really consider a wolf a dog, but like in essence,
a wolf is a dog. A chicken is a bird. One of the features that differentiate it from other birds is that it has a comb and two wattles.
Waddles.
There you go.
What is this podcast? I do love also that that they're using real statues using the temple in the demo of I believe he's referring to the E3 2018 demo, but that's something that I definitely would not have known, you know, if I just played the game. Like, yeah, cool, those look like Japanese statues, you know, sure. Yeah, but like it's cool to see that like they're actually like using like real authentic statues in the game and stuff like that.
Like I know that Sonic Adventure did that in I know. At Sonic Adventure they did that. You go to a temple in Sonic Adventure 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the dev team, like the Japanese dev team, actually went to Mexico to the Aztec temples there and took pictures of the environment of the actual temple from the outside and made sure to get everything in as much detail as they could possibly do to respect the history.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like
that a lot.
Yeah, they actually left a Sonic plushie there. Like they took a picture with a Sonic plushie on the temple, which I thought was funny. And I don't know, it just like stuff like that is something I respect. Just like the desire to be honest in what you do and in the historical content. Like when you're making games surrounded by history, like I may not know. I don't know Assassin's Creed. I don't know the history surrounding Assassin's Creed. But I know that there are people that have gone into history because of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
definitely, for sure.
Like, making games is like any kind of other... Like, I'd like to say it's like other media. This could be somebody's first experience in something like this. Like, Stan Lee said that about comics. I believe it was Stan Lee. Like, it was... Any comic could be somebody's first comic. So make it good.
Right.
So it's like with a game like this could be somebody's introduction into history. Like you have like a 10-year-old play Ghost of Tsushima. It's like, this is super cool. And then there's a lifelong passion. So I respect and admire the level of detail that they're putting in. Even in like the next paragraph that we're going to talk about, just the dialogue, just cutting out a word to make things fluid. And elaborating on that, Zimmerman also says that, and then there were things where, well, there's some stuff where the consultants help us not make mistakes. If anyone asked that question, I probably gave the example of us rewriting that scene with Jin and Masako when they meet. Originally we wrote it as, hello Jin, Ryuhi, forgive my pronunciation, Ryu from Street Fighter.
I think that's what
the exact same joke as last time.
Yeah, we're gonna just call him Ryu. It's probably completely wrong, but you know what? What do you expect?
Yeah, my deepest apologies.
Absolutely.
Our producer said, Yeah, Japanese people don't say that. She would just say Jin. Little stuff like that, just to make sure that if you're a Japanese speaker or if you're Japanese, you don't snag on stuff. Which I love.
Oh, I love that. I love that detail too. So cool. So cool. You know, because it's like, man, like, I would have never known that. Never known that, you know? Also, but very... Sorry.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
No, you go.
It's also, like, a very, like, interesting way to greet someone, you know? Because, like, I think we described it as, like... It kind of, like, sounds cold.
Yeah,
and, like
callous.
Yeah, it's like... Arachnite. Kevin. Like, you know? But, that's just how it goes. It's very, very interesting. Very interesting. But we have another detail like that as well, where it continues on with the article saying, I asked him another one today. I was like, Ryu, in the English version, the horse is named Nobu, a Japanese name. So why is it that when we did it in the Japanese, they changed the name? He said, oh, we didn't change the name. You just don't give horses names in Japan. That's an American thing. So when he calls the horse, Jin says, hey, over here. And the horse comes. He doesn't give him a name. I thought that was the coolest detail ever.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool. So cool.
I
cool.
love the dialogue, like Jin, like just Jin. That was my favorite, but like I don't know, like I never thought about just how the small differences in just communication between languages, like we said, like in the States we greet with a hello or a how do you do or whatever. Howdy. Howdy. I started saying that as a joke, and then it became not a joke, and I was actually saying it to people, and I was like, I really need to stop that. But moving on, like, just the details, like naming your horse, or cutting out a word from dialogue, I love that. Like, I'll say it a million times, but I love that. I love that attention to detail, because it shows care that sometimes we don't get in game development, because sometimes we'll get like yearly pushed out releases that are kind of soulless and lifeless, which honestly I feel has been decreasing. Like, I feel like in the early to mid 2010s we got a lot of just yearly releases that were kind of soulless, like Assassin's Creed Syndicate and some of the less popular entries in the Call of Duty franchise. But now I feel like there's a lot more soul in games, which I'm very, very excited about.
Right.
Also, Nobu is a cool name for a horse.
My god, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love Nobu, bro. That sounds sick. It sounds sick. And considering that, I feel like I haven't read a lot, and you've been getting like a lot of the like meaty paragraphs here. You can take the next one, then I'll take the next two. Since like if we were going back and forth, I'd be reading like 2 sentences.
Sure.
You know? So I'll give your voice a little break. You know
All right. I'll read this last one then.
Absolutely.
Things like that are going to fly over most players, and that's okay. Knowing that we're trying to get that stuff right, and knowing there are people that notice and appreciate that the kanji are actually 13th century kanji, that actually is why we're doing it. I think people not necessarily seeing those details or realizing the lengths we've gone to make sure it's true and where we want it to be true, they still benefit because it just adds a level of coherence to the whole thing that it's not made up.
And not really much to talk about there. But definitely, just reiterating that, hey, they are doubling down on the accuracy of the time, of course. The challenge for us making a game in an original story but taking place in a real historical time is making sure we're telling a story that people can relate to, that they can empathize with. So when we are deviating from this historical truth, we are doing it to stop you from snagging on stuff. If you have an idea about what samurai look like or how they act or how they think, we're going to give that to you. Most people's idea is really based on an idea of samurai, which is really more of a 16th, 17th, 18th century idea of samurai. 13th century historically is pretty different. In terms of how they fought, what they wore, it doesn't match your expectations. So we're not sticking exactly to the historical truth of the Kamakura era samurai. It's gonna be a little different. the armor that you see him wear, it's not 13th century armor. It's more wearing States period armor. Because honestly, the 13th century armor is pretty jarring looking. It's not what you'd expect. It's really boxy. It doesn't look aspirational, and we want to make sure that we give you that what we give you is your fantasy of what being a wandering samurai is. And so like this is the one thing that like I am personally okay and see their point of view in terms of like taking a little bit of liberties creatively.
Yeah, creative freedom.
Yeah, because like I mean, if you looked up 13th century armor, I don't know if you have recently.
It's boxy. Like you said, it's like an Iron Man mech.
Yeah, it like no, like it looks like the Mach 1 armor that like he made with a box of scraps in the cave. Box of scraps. You know what I'm saying? Like it literally looks like that. Like it looks wild. You know, it's a big boy. You know, what I thought would have been pretty cool to have, right, is that maybe like Jin starts off with the 13th armor, like the 13th century armor, you know?
Yeah.
It's like super boxy and big, whatever. And over time, you know, he starts to adapt his armor to be a little bit lighter, a little more, versatile to
become the ghost.
Yeah. That way that like he can move freely as the ghost as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I think would have been pretty cool. But I think it might have been, like, a little bit more jarring if you went from that boxiness to the slimmer down, like, as well as become the ghost. Like, I think that might have been too much change. I could definitely see where they're coming from that standpoint, you know? So, I thought that would have been cool.
But. Yeah. I think, like, I dig the armor design. Like, I love sleek-looking armor.
As do I. Yeah.
You know, like I like 13th century armor. Like they probably will throw a joke in, maybe. Like
maybe.
Yeah.
I imagine.
It's just like I don't know. Like I dig the design choice, like to make it like sleeker, so that it's not as like. Hey, like, why does he look like a bull? And it's just like I dig it. I think Jin's armor looks really, really cool.
I agree. It definitely looks super neat. And of course, what we saw at the state of play, how you can collect flower petals throughout the world to be able to change the color of your armor. That's gonna be super slick too.
Oh,
you know me. I'm a rock of blue and yellow armor for Jin. You already know. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait to do that. I can't. Yep. It looks good. And like, if they were going to, you know, divert from historical accuracy for any aspect of the game, they've definitely made a case as to why they are doing it for the armor. You know what I'm saying? Like it definitely makes sense for sure. But of course, going off of that. We do have the second part of this episode. Admittedly, it's going to be a pretty quick one just because we only have 3 characters that we are breaking down for the most part. It is the characters, of course, of Ghost of Tsushima. And we have our protagonist here that we will go over first. And then we have our ally as well as the antagonist of the game. But I'll let, of course, the Arachnite take it away in terms of Jin Sakai, our protagonist.
Sakai?
Sakai? I don't know.
Welcome where we don't know how to pronounce things, like either of us. Again, forgive the butchered pronunciation. Jin Sakai grew up on Tsushima Island. He was trained since childhood in a strict, disciplined environment, trained by peers to become a samurai. His uncle, Shimura, is the Jito, appointed by officials and were tasked with handling taxes and maintaining peace, land head, quote, of the island. Jin lived this way his whole life until the Mongols arrived. When the Mongols invaded Tsushima, they killed most samurai, civilians, and devastated towns. Sakai was one of the few survivors. Jin considers it his duty to protect the island and its people at any cost. The samurai followed the moral code Bushido, such as death before dishonor. The Mongols greatly outnumber him and the inhabitants of the island, so he must find new ways to defeat them. He can choose to use his expert swordsmanship as a samurai, or learn new tactics of the ghost which violate his code of honor. People on the island say good and bad things about him. Jin progresses to become larger than life, a legendary warrior. And I believe yesterday you posed a question on what would you do? Would you abandon your code to protect what you believe is right, or would you adhere to that code as much as possible, even if it would result in your death?
Yeah, because like definitely like I feel like we're gonna see a struggle with Jin on this topic, like mainly because like you can really see both sides of the coin. You know what I'm saying? Because like if you grew up like with this code, it has to mean something to like live up to that and to be honorable. You know what I'm saying? And to like still remain true in how you view the world and how you view that lens through that code, right? And still retain that honor. Like it makes sense that like he would still want to retain that, of course, even if Tsushima is under invasion, right? But also to the flip side of that, it's like, what is holding up that code if your people are dead?
Yeah.
Because of you holding up that code, like was it really worth it if like pretty much all these samurai are gone and you lose control of Tsushima to the Mongols and you're left without a home? You know what I'm saying? Was it really worth holding up that code? Like, it's a very interesting debate for sure.
Like we gave our own personal opinions on this as well. Like on what would we do, and the Ghost of Phoenix.
Facts.
Like my idea on it, like, just, this is nothing to do with the game, like this is just my own personal opinion. Like, my perspective on honor and all that is like, as long as it only negatively affects me, I'm okay doing what needs to be done to like protect people, but only if it negatively affects me. Like, so like, depending on the choices and what we might get in the game, because this is a Sucker Punch game. Sucker Punch in the last like 10 years has been making choice oriented games with the Infamous series.
Yeah, choice oriented open world games.
Yeah. So it's like it's probably not going to be as like cut and dry as Infamous 2's. Like, are you gonna kill all of humanity and become the beast, or save humanity? It's not going to be press R2 or L2 to make a choice. It's going to be much softer decisions, I feel, like in playstyle. Like, there better be, if there's a trophy to just maintain your honor and do nothing ghost related, I'll do it, like, just to see what happens.
Yes. Yeah, I bet, bro. I bet that'd be super interesting. Yeah, definitely.
Like
I don't even know where I say, because like I feel like I would want to save my people, and if that means being dishonorable, then so be it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's where I would range, but like, I do see the other side very, very clearly.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting one for sure. Very interesting. But there's one more thing I want to bring up here as well. That he said, of course we have his uncle Shimura, which we have seen in some trailers as well. I think we saw him in the story trailer, and I believe a little bit of the state of play. I think towards the end of it, I think we saw him as well. But seems like he'll be this mentor figure. This person that teaches him the ways of the samurai and different stuff like that. So. And it also is very telling of like the culture as well within Tsushima, and the fact that like he was appointed by officials as a Jido. It sounds like they have some sort of like a democracy type of deal within Tsushima, I think, at least of how it's worded. And it's a really cool thing that like he's also like maintained with handling taxes and specifically maintaining peace as well. You know what I'm saying? Like in a time of disarray, you know, we're gonna I assume be like looking into Shimura and like how he is trying to maintain peace, you know, in these invasion times, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I don't know, like I remember, like last week's episode, I was very impartial, for lack of a better phrase, surrounding my feelings on Ghost. But the more that we read and the more that we talk about it, the more excited I get.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, like definitely. And I hope that this episode does that for like a lot of people too. In terms of like, like there's like a lot of cool bits that we could get in this game. You know, it's just a matter of just like us. I mean, just me personally, like not knowing a ton about the Mongol invasion.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's it's like kind of a new perspective on games. Like usually, like the way that some of my friends describe my style in games is like, best case it's just like, oh, it's like fast paced and like action oriented and stuff like that. Most other times it's just gun go boom. So like this is something new.
Gun go boom.
Yeah. Shotgun go boom. That's Doom. That's just all Doom. Basically, you put my style of games and it's just Doom. Like, but if like this is something new, something that like new-esque. It's like it has hints of familiarity with other kinds of games, but it is very clearly it has its own identity. Which,
right,
like, hats off to Sucker Punch. Like, just you know, just hats off. Like, everything that I've read and we've seen is just impressive. Like just there's no better word that I can put on it. It's just, it is impressive, and it's. I say this in the best way, not like I'm like I have any authority or like I'm a critic or whatever, but it's like it's hard to get me to stop and say like, you know, wow.
Yeah.
It's like most of the time it's like, oh yeah, that's cool, or yeah, that looks nice. But seeing some of the trailers for Ghost, it really just it was like, wow.
Yeah. I felt wow definitely after say I played for sure. I was like, oh okay, like all right, like now like I see this game a little bit more clearly in terms of gameplay for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely excited. For sure. But then of course we do have two more characters to round out the cast. Of course there'll be more characters. This is all we know right now. According to the Ghost of Tsushima wiki via fandom. You know, shout out to that resource one more time if I will. We have Masako, who is a former ally of Jin Sakai. I believe I'm saying that wrong, but oh well. And a formidable archer. She helps him to rescue a monk from the temple in Tsushima, only to temporarily turn against him as the monk had betrayed her family. So this was also shown as a side mission. So like this will be a side mission in the game. I'm sure it might be edited and tweeted and stuff like that. We'll have to see whenever it comes out. But she seems like I mean, she seems, of course, very fierce, very cool, right? But like also like I think that there's a reasoning for them underlining that she's a formidable archer. Like maybe like we'll get some sort of like upgrades for the bow from her. You know, like maybe something like that. Like I think there might be more to like calling her just an archer, like besides her just being good at an archer. Like I think there might be more to that in terms of upgrades, but I really don't know. What do you think about this character?
Former ally and a formidable archer. Like, samurai use bow and arrows, like I believe. So, like, maybe Jin is a better swordsman than he is an archer. So it's like here, and then like gives him a bow, and then bam, skill tree.
Yeah, bam, skill tree.
You know how easy life would be? Is like, oh, here's a skill tree.
I would love a skill tree. Oh my god, are you serious right now?
Yeah, like special points in Fallout. It's like, where would you put all of it? Like, if I'm just looking at my score, charisma's at a 1. You hate to see it. Archery would be like that's a skill I'd upgrade. That'd be cool. But
Archery's a undiscovered skill I have yet to acquire.
Yeah, need a level
slash never acquire. You know what I'm saying? Just like every other skill in my life.
Welcome to the world's most self-deprecating podcast.
Oh, listen. I love self-deprecation jokes.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, I'm underlying the like joke part. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. I know I'm half decent. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
But tell us a little bit more about our hopefully not self-deprecating antagonist that goes up Tsushima to round out this episode.
Kodo Khan. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Koten Khan, whatever. Khan. Khan Maker, Koden Khan, a lot of Khans this year.
The Wrath of Khan. I think that's a Star Trek thing.
Yeah, I believe that is a Star Trek thing.
I think. I don't know.
Khan is the main antagonist of Ghost of Tsushima. He is a cunning and ruthless general of the Mongol Empire that plans to use his knowledge of the samurai to destroy them. Voiced by Patrick Gallagher, Koden Khan leads the Mongol army that invades Tsushima.
And we have seen a little bit of him in trailers. He seems like a very daunting character, and I described him before as being a little bit analogous in his stature and his demeanor, kind of sorta in a Wilson Fisk type of way. I think that's the angle we're gonna get from him. I think, just brooding, relentless, just force of just pounding on Tsushima. That's at least what I think. But
yeah, no, I dig Wilson Fisk-esque characters. Catch me wearing the Daredevil costume and beating up Khan. All red armor. Ren
are
Black
you trying to do that?
Yeah, I'm either gonna do red and black or white and red.
That's fire, dude. White and red would be lit, but black and red would be dope too. Oh man, I can't wait to customize Jim, bro. It's fire.
It's always with me, it's always black and red or white and red, but red is always in there somewhere.
See, I'm the antithesis. I like blue.
Yeah. Blue.
It's like we're Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
You'll love to see it.
Love to see it.
Blue. I don't know. I have to be in a blue mood, but navy blue hits different.
I feel that. But of course, we will have to wait until we are able to customize Jin when the full game comes out. But that has been the story synopsis and a little bit of history behind the Mongol Empire invasion of Tsushima and Japan as a whole, as well as some characters that we got to know and how it all relates from a historical standpoint to the narrative that they're showing in the game. Hope you all enjoyed. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I thought it was super insightful researching all this. I thought it was very, very neat. And definitely next week we're gonna go into a little bit more depth on ghosts and samurai and stuff like that, and maybe their individual codes of each. I think there's gonna be a lot of interesting stuff that's gonna come out. I mainly want to look at also the effects specifically of the samurai. We did find here, that there was a shift in how they fought after the Mongolian invasion, right? But what exactly changed on a more specific standpoint? You know what I'm saying? I really want to go into depth on that, so I'll definitely start research this weekend on that whole thing. That'll be next week. Ghost versus Samurai. Hope you guys enjoyed.
I'm looking forward to that.
Definitely.
That'll be very, very good. This was fun. If you guys like the history, we can interject more history into the episodes and try and give a little more context so everybody walks in a little more knowledgeable with the world surrounding Ghost of Tsushima.
Definitely. And Arachnite, where can the people find you?
I am on the PlayStation Source Discord, which you can find the link in the description below. I am under the same name. It is an active Discord. All of us are talking about games, what we're playing, what we're watching, like just things on our minds every day. Bear in mind, if you join, there's going to be a lot of Last of Us talk, so just, come in with that. No spoilers, don't worry about that. It is a tough time for those of us who have been playing Last of Us 2. It is a tough time. But it's a fun place. Like, we love to have new members pop in, so please hop in. I'm on Twitter at Orly_Macias, which will be in the description as well. ORLY_MACIAS. I talk about movies, video games, comic books, just nerd stuff. Like, all the time over there. I love meeting members of the community and talking to them about like what they're playing and seeing screenshots and all that. So, yeah, that's where you can find me.
Of course, links down below in the description to all that he pointed to, his personal links, as well as, of course, links to our PlayStation Source links, including our Twitter, our Discord. Wow, our Discord down below, as well as our Anchor link to listen to our long form content and podcast format. That, of course, being Road to Part 2, as well as this very show, Road to Ghost of Tsushima, as we lead up to release of Ghost of Tsushima. Like if you've enjoyed it, rate us on podcast services, and make sure to stay subscribed to PlayStation Source to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation and all things Ghost of Tsushima, the last PS4 big banger of the generation. It's gonna end off here, man. Love to see it.
PS5 is gonna be crazy.
Oh, PS5 gonna be lit. Let's go. PS5, come on, man. Spider-Man Miles Morales, Horizon Forbidden West,
Cyberpunk
now, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart. Come on, man. Fire. Last of Us Factions. Come on, man.
Hopefully that comes out before.
Dude, I need that now. That's what I'm saying. I need, man, even if they were like, hey, here's a beta. Oh my god, I love it. Oh my god, I would cry for a beta. Oh man. Oh well.
I'll take what I can get. Like, it's fun.
We will definitely get Ghost of Tsushima first, as far as I'm aware.
Yes.
And thank you all for watching. Make sure to tune in next week for episode 3 as we lead on towards Ghost of Tsushima's release date. And thank you all for watching. Thank you for the support. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Thank you all for watching. And as always, greatness awaits.
See
you later, guys.
ya.